Right.
Oh, that would have been fucked up. Should have came down here, boy.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
We are live. We live right now, bro. We live right now.
You should have came down here and see why those tickets were so high. Shit.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people? It's time for Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
Ooh, like I said, man, the in-between takes and the before takes, boy, if y'all could be here, you got to wait, though, because I just got here, so I got to make sure that my ringer is off. Oh, there it go. It is off. Yes, sir. Classic Conversation with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
Listen, I am JT, a.k.a. your classic man, a.k.a. Robert. Sitting next to me, to my immediate right, is my man Angelo, a.k.a. Lowdown, a.k.a. Mr. Sit Down at Uptown. And to my far right is, we try not to give his name out too much, just going to do the initials, Mr. MJ, a.k.a. Asacop, a.k.a. I can't even say the other part. We're just going to keep it at that. We're just going to keep it at that. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing?
And, man, wasn't here last week, but I had to tell you, man, you got me watching that show. Man. You're doing your thing on that, man. I'm proud of you.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me, because you know what I want to find out. I'm going to watch it after tonight. But
I'm loving the responses that I'm getting from it. All I can tell you is stay tuned. They really told me, don't talk too much about it. Even when I make posts, when I share it. At one time, they were telling me, don't say nothing, just share it. So that's why now all you see is ... Then my hashtags, and then you click on the link and you can see old Robert. That's what I like to call him, old Robert, doing what he does, and what he's trying to do, and all that good stuff. Yeah.
He stepped up his shoe game, Robert did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He ain't wearing the old man shoes no more.
Yeah. Robert got into the comments. Robert got into the comments a little bit and said, "Oh man, let me flip that up." But the towel stays. The towel stays. Period. Towel is always going to be there. You'll see it in every episode. The only episode that you probably didn't see, you didn't look hard enough because it was actually sitting on the table. You dig? Just saying what I'm saying. Hey man, real quick, how y'all feel about the NBA playoffs?
They went how they're supposed to do it, and then OKC gonna run Pacers out the court.
I think OKC was the best team all year long, and they proved it in the playoffs. Indiana has been the second hottest team since March. They had the best record of anybody since March, and they've continued to play the same way. So I think this is going to be the better series that we would have gotten outside of had Boston made it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Boston messed up.
Nah, I think go 6 games.
6?
I think go 6.
I think be out in 6 too.
Are they still in the 2-3-2 format, or is it 2-2-1-1-1?
I think it's still 2-3-2.
2-3-2? 2-3-2. I'm thinking 6 also, with them being able to get all them home games in there. I think it'll be the most high scoring NBA Finals we've seen in a long time. A lot of points scored, and the crazy thing is with the defense of Oklahoma City plays, Indiana's still gonna score a lot of points, but they're gonna still stop them at times. That's the crazy thing.
I got my prize picks ready.
Are you surprised they fired Thibodeau though? Real quick, just curious.
Very surprised.
Me too.
Yeah, real surprised at that, especially after the players got up there on the podium and, talked about how they praised him and everything. Even though, don't get me wrong, I do feel that his coaching style is a little off for today's NBA game. You got to get some subs in the game. But he may have learned that lesson, and I think should have gave him another chance to run that back. I was really surprised at that.
How do you get rewarded? This crazy thing, man, is you take a team to a conference championship for the first time in 25 years, and your reward is getting fired. That junk is ends. He got you would think he was black.
What
25 first time in 25 years, and you get fired? That's crazy to me.
Is he brown skinned?
I don't know.
Is he close to Italian or something?
I'm just saying, man. That junk just I mean, that's
Yeah,
your reward.
he does need to cut the hair. It's crazy to me how white men can wear that hairstyle and, have that male pattern baldness. It's not male pattern baldness. They're actually bald. And still rock it. And there's, it looks okay. But when a black man does it, boy.
They're going to roast you.
You're going around with that cul-de-sac sitting on top of your head, boy. I've had it before.
I let mine go, boy,
Cul-de-sac.
long ago.
Yes,
Mine
sir.
just started. I said,
when it goes around, it's just
Yeah, the cul-de-sac, man. You can drive in there and drive right back out.
George Jefferson.
Yeah, I had a cul-de-sac, but I had
Cul-de-sac.
I had like a median right in the middle, so you can drive around it. I had there was like plants right here in the middle, some trees in the middle of the cul-de-sac, so you drive around it, come back out on the other side.
I didn't even let mine go, that boy. When I saw this going and had that one spot back here,
Yeah,
and a
they
barber
call them
pointed it out,
cowlicks.
I said, man, what you talking about? He got the
Oh,
mirror.
so you didn't realize it.
Not that. This, I said, hey, man, easy on the front. Don't do nothing with the front. Don't do nothing with the front.
Hey, man,
Interesting.
I told you my story. I knew about the front. I didn't know about the hole in the back.
Yeah, that's what
I never used
that's
a
when you got
mirror
the mirror
looking in the
showed
back
it
of
to
my
me. I'm
head.
like, what?
And the day that I told my barber that I wanted all my hair cut off, my 45th birthday, he screamed out. Everybody started clapping. And then they showed me the pictures. I was like, dude, you had me walking around all this time with this hole in the back of my head. I never knew. He used to cut my fade up right. I had like a little piece of hair going right up under the hole.
And they're holding hands like this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long I walked around like that. People looking at me from the front, go, boy got some good hair. And I walk back and be like, but he ain't got nothing in the back.
That's interesting.
No, yeah, man. Yeah, my boy, yeah.
This is real free.
Now, look, I see why he was only charging me $12 for a haircut now, because he knew he was doing me wrong.
God, dog.
He didn't take the haircut prices up with me.
No, boy.
Hey, they over. Ain't no such thing $12 haircut no more. You can't get a $20 haircut. It's hard to find a $20 haircut. $20 line, that crazy?
Hey,
They took full advantage of COVID, boy.
What? Oh, bruh. And I mean, now you got you order them online. You go online, they got apps where you go online and you put in what you want, like I think it's a numbered system where if you want a fade, the lineup is there. So once you put all them numbers in, then it tallies up like you at the club or something. Yeah, they got apps for the shit now, bro. Yeah.
Huh? I don't. That's wild.
Hey.
I'm tripping. I'm like, bro.
You probably been going to your barber for a long time. Huh?
Same barber, man.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens when you stick with your barber for a while. You probably don't have those problems.
Yeah, my hair is thin, so I just can't.
Just go to anybody.
Yeah, I just can't go to anybody. You know what I mean? You mess. Yeah, Zoop boy. They be like, oh man, come on. I don't want that. I don't. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Oh, wait.
That's Zoop. Right.
I'm just saying the two worst words in the barbershop. My bad.
or everybody go quiet. You hear that Zoop and everybody go, ooh. Boy, that's a bad feeling right there, especially when you the one in the chair. You looking around going, what happened? What happened? It actually happened to you. All right, so gentlemen, let's move it on then. June is men's mental health month. And in regards to that, that's something
Gemini season with June is, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I know we've talked about mental health and stuff a lot, as one of the foundations of the show. But you have a lot of men right now that's just going silent. Just being silent, not really talking. I'm talking retreating to, just not speaking, even when they're out, just different. When you see something like that, say even if it's not somebody that you're really, really close with, but it's somebody you've been around a couple of times, and all of a sudden you see them acting different, do you ask about him, or do you ask that person if he's okay?
I would say, you good, bro? Dap him up, see what's up.
And this is, now if this was somebody that you knew really well, you would approach it the same way, or would you?
Oh, no, if it's somebody, man, let's catch breakfast. Like my boy, when I was going through shit with my dad, he was like, man, let's go get some breakfast. And we'll eat breakfast, and we'll talk it out, But I think what's happened with mental health care, because I had to, because incidents when I was working. So I've been going to psychiatrists since my first shooting, so I'm comfortable with it. But I think now it's more acceptable. It's a lot more acceptable. The thing that hurts it is most people can't afford it. That's what the big issue is. Now I think a lot of people want to go, but they can't afford to go.
You think a lot of black men want to go? Just curious.
I think, well, having gone, it's like when you go, it's like until you go, it's like a coat. The coat you've been carrying around, and it's 98 degrees, and you wearing a fur coat. It's like taking a fur coat off a 9-degree weather. You're like, ooh, shit. And then it's like you can really let go because you don't have to save face. You can say this is what the issue is. You can say how you really felt like when you're getting a shoot on the police department. Not that people are glad you killed a person, but they're happy that well, hell, And everybody's like, hey, man, good shit, Luke. Remember when Treadwell popped that guy? Oh, my bad. Anyway, but it's like you sitting there and you like, everybody's like, hey, man, good. Woo, woo, woo. But I know once you get in the shoot, it's not that way. It tears you up inside. And everybody's patting you on the back like, hey, And so that causes mixed emotions, and then you carry them year after year after year, and then when you finally break sound, it hits you,
No, I see that.
Angelo, I'll say I don't think that men want to go. I as much as it's talked about, I still don't believe that men want to believe that they need help from someone else. I still think that toxic masculinity is still ruling in the black community, to where to show your masculinity, you handle things on your own. And I still think that rule or rumor, whatever you want to call it, I still think it rings loud and still holds true in the community big time. I even think some people may say that they've been a counselor and haven't been. I also feel that some people are using that they need counseling as an excuse to do some stupid shit, which is scary to think of, because you never want to say that somebody is faking it. You never want to say it, but, and I remember as a kid, I used to look at those talk shows, those afternoon talk shows, and they would have those guys up there that killed everybody in the house, and be like, well, why you kill everybody? I would say, well, because they was home. And, people was like, what? He crazy, So now if you kill everybody in the house and say that it was a mental health issue, are you able to get off because of that?
No, you got a lot of other things you got to prove for you get that card.
Yeah. I don't think you'll get off, but I just think that some people may be using it as an excuse to do stupid shit, or an excuse for doing stupid shit.
Well, they try to, but it don't work like that. There's a lot more that goes into it. And if you don't have the attorney or the money to buy that right witness, the doctor just gonna say the right thing, Pookie or a trailer driver ain't gonna get it. You're gonna have to have money to get off on that.
Let me ask this question, MJ. If for you personally, what department's requirement, is that the only reason that would have ever led you? Do you think you would have ever sat down for anything if you weren't told you had to? Honestly.
I think I would, from the standpoint, remember when I started picking up rank? And you sitting in there, and I had to call the psychiatrist constantly because people that worked under me were coming to me with their problems.
Okay.
And people would tell me some shit, oh, shit. And that, I can talk about it, but one particular thing actually ended up on the news. And it's like, wasn't the police officer, somebody else involved in it, but it's like all that was unfolding in front of me and I couldn't handle it. So I called the city, psychiatrist and psychological services. And when it happened, it was like a relief because I started finding out about triggers and things like that. And then when you're talking to somebody and you realize, well, damn, that's me. And then I got in another shooting incident, and it wasn't handled like the first one because the first shooting incident I had killed somebody, and I was going to work literally the next day when I was a Red Dog. And then from there, so I was carrying that all that time. So when I did it, and I was talking to Doc, he said, yeah, Doc, boom. And it's like probably 2 months later, I was in there, and I talked about childhood trauma.
Okay.
And I think that's what affects black people more than anything is childhood trauma. And I really didn't, not saying I was cool with the shooting, it's just that I had so much more I was carrying than the shooting. Then we discussed the shooting. You shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot back. And as far as that, in the last incident, I was like, not like all pro, but I'd already handled it. So I knew how to conduct myself. I knew I had to compress. I knew I needed time away from the job. Whereas before, I said that's the biggest change in law enforcement. Before it was almost like you don't want to be seen as weak, so you come back. The first time I was made to come back. Yeah, see them all, Lewis. But then the next time it was like I welcomed that because then, like I said, I broke down. I can still remember where it was. South Harrison and Redan. I was at the red light, and it was months later, and it hit me. And so the second time I took off, and I was able to deal with it more because when you got family issues, you taking your sons to wrestling, sons of this, sons of that, and you're carrying all that family issues, and you got a relationship, and then you got, cooking dinner, and then you got every troop that works under you or your coworkers, and they're calling you. And so it's a lot. I'm all for it. So I identified that I needed it, and a lot of times I would go talk to Dr. Bradford, shout out to her, because a lot of times when I was having issues, I could always pick up the phone, say, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Because the positions I had a lot of officers that I had to do SWAT, fugitive. And a lot of times I talked actually about some of the SWAT calls because that's when you really understand it crosses all color lines. When you got a man that something happened to the point he's got his own kids hostage. And a lot of times we're able to talk about, that's what you don't see on the news. A lot of times the hostage negotiators, actually Titus, who's major now, deputy chief, Titus was able to talk people out, or Lewis, also Lewis. And it's because all that person wanted to do is be heard. 90%, I'll say about 70% of SWAT calls are just somebody that wanted to be heard. And they take it to the extreme, and once they go there and they realize they're messed up, then it's like, oh shit, what I do? In the old school way of, let's go in there and get it. But literally, that's why we work out constantly, because they had to sit there 16, 18 hours. So when everybody's, they just want to kill you, that's not the case. Well, in major cities, I can't say, but we talk them out. And the whole time, imagine it helped your relationship because you heard somebody else talking about the same things you dealing with. But on the news, it puts a crazy man, takes his family hostage. And a lot of times, not that you could ever say it, but I see why the motherfucker did what he did. Not that he should have did it, but you saw what pushed him.
Angelo,
go ahead.
Because you asking him that, actually, being close to you and being around, you doing work down here at the club and everything, and then in your other businesses. He's dealing with people that was coming up to him with some extreme type situations. You dealing with but dealing with employees and hearing, or I'm sure that a lot of people, because you're that type of person, come up to you and kind of lay their issues at you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that counseling has helped or would help you deal with the mental, the mental weight that you have to carry for your employees?
Oh yeah, but I think that's you brought up a valid point. Okay.
We're gonna get on you like Shaq got on Barkley. Hey man, how were we go from 1 to 2 back to 3?
My bad. It's something I'm passionate about. I'm sorry.
I know.
Hilarious.
But yeah, in regard, like I said, with MJ, it was something dealing with some real extreme things. With you, I'm sure that you somebody that didn't come in the day before, now they want to come in and explain why they didn't come in. And sometimes when you start giving a reason of why you reacted to or did something, you keep talking. So I know that you hear a lot of things you probably like, well, damn, I didn't know I was going to hear all that. But, dealing with that, because that's a lot to carry, your regular life, your business, and now you've become uncle figure, father figure to some of these folks that work for you. So you think that counseling has helped you, therapy has helped you deal with that, to be able to take it in and unpack it?
In a lot of ways, yes. Probably not to the extreme of, what MJ talking about. And then, I read Frank's comments, about being in combat so many times.
Right.
And what led you to the counseling too, Frank? What triggered you to actually go seek counseling? I'm just curious by your statement. But yeah, I would imagine it has helped. When I've done counseling before, it was for tragedy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And naturally, it impact you, and you unpack a lot of things during the course of, most therapists don't ever just attack what you're dealing with. They
Right, yeah.
They want to dig deep and insight and things of that nature. And so naturally you unpack a lot of other stuff. And so, yeah, I think all those things help you deal with the stuff that you're dealing with, dealing with employees. Because, yeah, I get it all, brother. You know what I mean? I mean, and that office right there, man, you name it, it's been discussed. And I mean, you name it, it's been discussed. And, and naturally, when you're the person everybody comes to for everything, you know what I mean? People ask, what happened? What do you do? And I guess it's probably one of the questions we're going to have if I read the stuff later, you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely think it helps. It can only help, JT. Honestly, it can only be impactful. And to help you learn how to deal with other people, you know what I mean? And to help you help them, for lack of better words, you know what I mean? Because of things that you were able to look, see, dissect, what have you, So.
Yeah, again, like I said, Frank, MJ, the level of conversation that they're having with their colleagues or people that they're that's up under them that they're in leadership over, totally different than say something that you take on. Even me, I've taken on a lot just by putting myself out there. When I went to counseling, I think I went to counseling when I thought I was living my best life. I was making the most money I could make. I was having everything was going great. And it took listening to somebody on the radio talk about their unhappiness is what actually made me go to counseling. And it was just feeling like you wasn't complete type of deal is what made me go. I'm overdue, to be honest with you. Well overdue. I need to get me a wellness check-in real quick, to be honest with you. But there's all sorts of reasons what make people go. Did Frank ever
He did.
respond to it? What was his response to that question?
He said it was in response to a tragic event, standing in the Road 3 Navy Hospital, seeing up close what 25 pounds of homemade explosives does to a person. He said he was in charge, so he had to display strength. Yeah, it's real heavy.
Yeah. just like,
Todd Vick says therapy saved his life because you need to have an outlet because of pressure bust pipes.
Yeah.
So he going to VA in the morning for group therapy, which he's been going to for the last 15 years for military service.
Yeah, me and Vic has had some extensive conversations in regards to how therapy can help and get you by, and actually, it like I said, I'm overdue. I'm about a year and a half, I think, since I've had my last session.
That's why I asked MJ the question earlier of when I make a statement, do they realize? Because I don't. Because it takes certain settings, I think, for men to be vulnerable enough to even discuss therapy. If it's not the right setting, they'll never acknowledge. You know what I mean? You won't hear that conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's still taboo. It's still because of the level of strength that we're always supposed to have and supposed to display, and then you worry about how people view you. And I've always said the male ego is one of the most uncontrollable. You know what I mean? It's
a powerful being.
It's a powerful. You know what I mean?
Powerful being.
So that's why I asked the question earlier. 'Cause I just don't think a lot of them, even if they wanted to go, they would never really admit to it, and some just in just straight denial of it. You know what I mean? So
that's
I can see that to an extent, but I just think now it's like every TV show talks about it. I think what happens a lot, like okay, now getting back on the church. The black church used to be the psychologist for people. The preacher would do the marriage counselors. They would offer that. They would talk to people. I know my grandfather was, deacon. He was worshiper master at a lodge, and so I can always see people stopping by to talk to him for advice. So I think we've always had it. We just looked at it differently. And I think like when you're growing up, everybody's got the older homeboy that everybody goes to for advice. Or it's like, not being funny, but the barber. The barber, hey, man, what's going on with you? You don't look right, man. What's going on, man? You won't believe this shit. And you talk to your barber.
The barber shop.
Especially when you go during the day. Yeah. And sometimes you might go see your barber, because I had an older barber. And I would go there and see him, and I purposely go, not on the day I normally go, because I go there to talk about football. And I'd go like during the week. He said, man, what bring you in here? And he knew I wanted to talk. And I then hash it out, because sometimes there's things you don't want to bring up with certain people, and then you got somebody you can bounce it off of. So I think we've always had that, or like one of your boys say, hey, man, let's go out for a drink. And I know it's somebody that don't drink. So, okay, let me go see what's up. So I think we do it subconsciously, but we do.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Now, I agree 100% with that. I was talking specifically to a mental professional, but I definitely agree where, men, that is their mental health for, if you're around the right group of people.
The Shy just started back up.
Yeah.
And they still have, I was so glad they kept it in the limelight of the show, the circle. These brothers get together and they say whatever they want to say, and all these guys know each other. I mean, they're in the same neighborhood. They're seeing each other 3-4 times out of the week. So there's enough trust within that circle that they can actually speak on whatever issues they're having, and knowing that it's just going to stay within that circle. And and letting each other know, we got your back, that type of deal. I'm hoping that that's still available within our community. I just think that, that whole not wanting somebody to know your business, or thinking that somebody what is it, like 7 people that's in that room together? Right. Usually you won't get 7 guys in a room and you open up, guys that you know. You might open up, like you said, with your homie or 2 of your homies. But usually when you got 6 or 7 people in a room, even though you know them, you worried about that judgment within that room, and then you worried about somebody in that room putting your business out, and now somebody else going to be judging you, type of deal. It's when you go to a counseling session and you don't know anybody, it's really easy to speak, because you feel like those folks can't get back to people that you know. Yeah. You can probably even keep it a secret that you doing in therapy sessions. But when you're talking about getting in a room with people that you know, that's heavy. I mean, that takes a lot of courage. That's when your ego has, and I'm looking at this show, I've watched those episodes, and you can see certain, and these are young cats, you could see them from being in there the first week like this to now in there, opening up a little bit and speaking, type of deal. So
a lot of what the brother said, there was the guest last time. What he's doing with those rooms with those people. I mean, it takes a lot to get people to, especially men. Jamel, yeah, that was good stuff he's doing. So, and you need more of that, and you really need that highlighted more. You know what I mean? To get especially black men, you know, to
I think-
to open up.
But I think, like, think about it. We always say, what's up? But these young dudes, they'll walk in a room full of people and we don't even speak to each other anymore. You walk past people and what's
That's
alarming,
true.
like I say, hey, bro, you didn't hear me? I'm good for doing that. And because it just bothers me. But you're seeing older dudes now that don't speak, or you see somebody speak, and I've had people actually circle back, hey, man, my bad, man. I was thinking about something. And he didn't speak because they're so used to people not speaking. I speak to everybody. Hey, man, what's up? Good day. Compliment a lady. Hey, how you doing? Nice dress. And some people just mad they're don't supposed to hear it, and they just keep on walking like they didn't hear it. Hey. So I think that's part of the problem because people just don't have people to talk to because people are so distant now. And I think what made it come out to where people know they had to deal with it because of COVID, they had to actually deal with everybody had to deal with demons because you couldn't go out, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. So people had to sit in a room with themselves so you deal with this shit. And I think,
That's real.
so I think that
That's real.
brought it out to the forefront, and then it was all over the media, therapy. But the biggest thing, and I wish we had Doc on here because she'd tell you, it costs money. Her sessions cost money. So how can you have somebody that can't pay for dinner or gas for the week talk about he's going to drop $150 on a session? And if it's part of your, let's take for Kaiser, for instance, it takes so long to get a visit, you're like, what the fuck? And it wasn't even nothing serious, just, I'll be honest, I went when I retired. Because it's a total different thing. I'm used to being a $1 million budget and dealing with this and dealing with these people and telling this person to do this and do that, and I had to find something for me to do. I found creative ways to be busy, but I just that was a big shock for me, and I think some people don't have it, and it's sad in America. And this is an everybody issue, but most people just don't have the money. And it's not
That's a real
enough
statement.
professionals.
That's a real statement. I think that's why you've had those other professions when they're not actual doctor. What them people call
Therapists.
life coaches,
Life
and
coaches.
you've had a lot of those
Yeah.
start coming aboard because they can't afford. In order, you can't get to one of those therapists. That's why you got a lot of those life coaches become way more prominent, around. But yeah, man, I think it's a real issue that I think is going to be always ongoing. And again, our community, I'm glad to see things like the Shy because
That puts it out there.
That puts it out there.
Yeah.
And that's why those kind of things should be highlighted even more.
Yeah, it's something I've talked about it. I haven't been able to do it because of some other circumstances with the wife and everything. But something that I want to start within the cigar community at different cigar lounges is actually creating a space and seeing if it can grow. I'm hoping to do that now that things are kind of getting back to normal, so that I can have a little space or whatever, some time to do the things. But I'm hoping to actually do that myself. Let me ask you this. You've always heard of females that sometimes get loose sexually, and sometimes people say it's because of something she went through or whatever. Do you feel that can affect a man the same way, to where if he's went through something to where all he wants to do is just keep having sex as a way to deal with it or decompress?
I think definitely, yes. Definitely.
But if not, it's a great excuse.
I had to clear my
And with that,
had to clear it.
we're gonna use that as excuse to take a break. We'll be
Oh, what
right
were y'all
back.
talking about?
Classic
I'm talking to my
Conversation with
head.
JT and Lowe.
Oh, get your minds out the gutter. Oh, my God.
people. So let's get this thing going. It is Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
We are back. We back. Last segment. Go ahead and give them comments from that last segment, sir.
Real quick, I think I did most of them earlier. But Frank mentioned been to combat too many times. That's why he definitely goes. Todd Vicks, I believe a lot more men wanting to go, but like Mike said, can't afford it. Let's see here. Frank, Todd Vicks, we took that one. My mom said maybe that's why in the day they went to the barbershop to talk. Yeah, that played a big part. All right, that's it. Let's rock.
All right, y'all. So the next segment, y'all got to work with me on this. Take a deep breath before I try and say the word.
I got you back, man. Go ahead.
You messed me up. Now I got to start over again. No, don't say it. Now you messed me up. Infantilization of the black man in America and within the culture and the media. Ooh, got it in. So just in case I said it too fast, basically what we're talking about is infantilization. And what that means is basically taking people and keeping them into a childlike state, a childlike image. So we're thinking about the rappers with the name Lil Baby and Baby this and Lil this. Everybody's Lil something or everybody's Baby. So I think there's like 4 babies out there. Now, you might wonder, is that the media or is that the actual person that's giving themselves them type of names? But the thing is, even if it is the people giving themselves those type of names, the media will use it and make sure that they're looked upon as children instead of grown-ass men, which they actually are. Lil Bow Wow changed his name to where there ain't no more Lil. He was just Bow Wow. And then he actually started using his name. So he was one that actually took control of it himself. But now what you see, or at least what I see, and I don't know how old these Lil Durks, I hope I'm not saying somebody that's not here anymore, because I don't know them all, but I just know the names. You got the Lil Durks, you got the Lil Babies, you got the Baby this and Baby that, and all these littles. They're probably grown men right now, but they're going to carry this name, and the media is always, every time that their name is in the spotlight, they're going to make sure that they looked upon as children instead of men. What do y'all think about it?
Well, I think it goes a lot deeper than that, and go to Lowe's favorite show, Good Times. It goes all the way back to that because Flo had to always run, oh, James, stop. Like he's some big bad gorilla or something that didn't know how to control his emotions or act. Oh, calm down, James. Calm down, James. And it portrayed the black man, even back then, is unable to control his emotions. Or slickster, or couldn't handle the pressure. The woman had to get the money. The woman had to run the house. And I think that was part of the plan. The Welfare Act, it's part of it. A lot of things happened to change it because people forget, up until the 60s, more black people were married in America than white people. We actually led that. And after Jim Crow went out, and Jim Crow ushered in another era, then welfare did it. And then I think a certain segment, the same people that did it with rap music, they also did it with the families. And anytime a black man was portrayed on TV, if it was somebody that was unintelligent, what color was he? And when it was somebody that was intelligent, what color was he? They wanted to make him be as close to white as possible. And that's something that made the Little Babies and Little Durks start happening, because I think that's how those boys were raised, so they accepted those roles. I think it's a lot deeper than just now. I think that came back from all those things through history, where the black man was always made to seem like he was less than. Then it caught on with our females, and even to this day, that's why a lot of females will say, oh, I'm grown, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, because for history, since the dawn of time, we were all, and it goes back to breaking the buck. What did they do? They wanted to break the black man down, even as a slave, so the other slaves, he couldn't be strong. And then all through history, we've always been belittled or think we're less intelligent than, but a black woman's always been accepted. And then to this day, the door's always been open, and our sisters kicked the door in as far as higher education and things of that nature. So I think a lot of it, historically, was set up by America, but I think as a culture, we were accepting of it.
So I think first of all, Dwayne, you missed the I after the L. So this is what made that shit spell right. So if anybody's seeing it, we know. But I don't know. I don't look at it that deep, honestly, in terms of that. In terms of the name part of it. Like we got a friend, Lil Frank, who's on here right now. He's a full bird colonel. He's 55 years old. His name is gonna be Lil Frank for the rest of his life. And it had nothing to do with. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying you can look at some of these things.
Frank, I ain't know you were Lil Frank.
Yeah, he
dog.
Lil Frank. You gonna have
I didn't know you were Lil Frank.
Big Frank and Lil Frank. That's how they were identified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's how some people identify in their neighborhoods. I think those are more neighborhood names and family names that just carried on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times it's that.
But the emphasization, what I was talking about
Go ahead.
is that, yeah, the name's there, but I was talking about just how black men are portrayed. And I
Right.
think we're always been portrayed as less intelligent or more childlike, had to be controlled. And like, that's why I wasn't a fan of Big Mama's House. I like Tyler Perry in serious roles. I don't like him as Medea because it pushed that stereotype of the black woman. Black families are so disorganized. The white woman had to run it, and a lot of it shows because a lot of times that's the way it was. But I didn't come from that. So
No, I think I agree with what you're saying. I was saying in terms of I think the name,
Yeah, the name, okay.
the naming. I think is I don't look that deep into that part, but in terms of what it does and how it's portrayed, then of course I agree with that part. I definitely think we're gonna always be looked at as less than in a lot of aspects, and even and that's why you see the stuff that's going on with some of our entertainers who were very popular, and all of a sudden they're breaking them down one by
got
one.
too big, yeah.
You know what I mean? So just this is what the culture does. When you get a little too big for your britches, they break you down. You know what I mean?
Because excuse me.
The list goes on and on though. So yeah, I just think that's what it is. It's just it's what it is in how they look at us. What about you, T?
Well, when you brought it back to the hip hop culture or whatever icons or entertainers that we look up, I hate to say look up to, but admire whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's acting, whatever. But you're right in regards to breaking them down and because a child, if three black children walked into a room, nobody's going to feel, of any other race, is going to feel too threatened. But if three grown-ass black men walked into a room, those people are going to feel a different
honestly,
type of
in this
threat.
day and time, how old the three kids are,
Look, I wanted to say that.
and what they look like.
I'm
Because
saying,
if you get three kids coming in
I'm
and
saying
doing this right here,
5 years old.
hey, that's a concern.
Yeah, I'm saying, let's go with,
Let's be real.
the word is infant is in the words. We can go with infant style.
Infantilization.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna go like the new babies on the AI stuff. We're gonna go with that age. If those three cats walked in the room with, even though they got mustaches now, but if they walked into the room, nobody's gonna feel threatened as if three grown black men walked into the room. Mm-hmm. So we're saying infantilization. We're saying that. But it's basically making the men of our culture seem smaller, seem less, I ain't gonna say presentable, but shrinking their presence.
But
I think that's what they're trying to do.
But when you say the they, right? And it goes back to something I say darn every week. We say who is the they? What I think what they do is that all they do is set mouse traps. But when you look on social media, you look on, we're typically the ones who are making our black men look less than.
Good point.
You know what I mean, they just set the traps, and then they let our people go on there and show the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the media does. They're very, very good at that. They just.
And you know what? It's not that hard to be. We make it easy for them. You want to think that there's some type of skill to what they're doing, but actually all they're doing is putting one picture out, and that's all they need is one picture, and we will we will fill in the blanks.
We will fill in the blanks.
We will fill in the blanks and keep it going. I mean, say me as Robert. Why did they talk about my shoes? They didn't talk about my shoes. White folks didn't talk about them. They did. You know what I'm saying? We will
Let's not bring that up again.
We were filling the
Put
blanks.
that all over the media and shit. I'm getting chastised. Y'all posted the hell out of that snippet. I can't have an opinion. Fuck me.
All right, my bad. I skipped the number.
Yeah.
Go to the comments, man.
They just said they even started with the movie Birth of a Nation to portray us as being feared in society. Rossi Martin says, I agree with Lo. I believe the name just carried from childhood and neighborhood, so to speak, nothing to do with the level of the man.
What's up, Rossi? Rossi up in Jersey, man.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yes, appreciate you watching, homie. As always, keep spreading the word up there. Let them folks know what's happening. And you keep saying you coming down, be a part of the show, bro. I keep hearing you say it. Come on down. You got them cameras and everything. Bring it down, bro. Bring it down. Let me see. That was it. Didn't we have no other comments about want to talk about the people making us look like kids?
I mean, again, I think we do that to ourselves, though. We continuously do that to ourselves.
So
You want to blame other people. We really, you know what I mean? It's so much easier to blame other people, but
long time ago.
But we make it. Hey, man, it's just
Long time ago.
I say all the time. They just lay little traps, man.
Yep. Long time ago, we used to talk about making sure your backyard is clean, but I think we as a culture need to make sure our front yard is clean.
Well,
We
the
not
damage
cleaning
was
up our
done
front
back
yard.
then, and now it's to the point, unless we recognize it, like this title, Black Fatigue, you know, that's legit. And I've been black fatigued this whole time, and I'm glad somebody probably finally put a word on it, but it's like it's getting less and less, not from a conservative point. When people hear the word conservative, they automatically think crazy-ass Trump. But black people have always been conservative. My family was Masons, teachers, you know, preachers, deacons. So you had us military officers, police, firemen. So you had people, men in strong roles. And I think what's happened now, it's like it doesn't happen anymore because every TV show you see that Tyler Perry puts out just about, it's always strong black females. Strong black females and cheating-ass black men. And so that's been portrayed to the point where a certain segment has grown up under that, and then you sprinkle rap music on top of it, and you sprinkle joblessness, you sprinkle EBT cards, you sprinkle welfare, mom not working, dad not working, history, or dad not being there, 74% out of wedlock birth rate. That's what puts us where we're at now. But until we have a legit conversation where black leaders we can do it on a podcast, but I think that's why Charleston White has taken off the way he has. Remember when we had him on the show? And I remember I said after the show, man, this guy's on. And after that show, it didn't have nothing to do. He was on his way up. But now he's a voice, and I think podcasts, in a lot of ways, is therapeutic for our culture. Because issues that used to be spoken with by preachers or, deacons or at the lodge, the Sonic Lodges, now those things are being given out by podcasts. And I think when the buffoonery goes away, which is starting to go away, I think it's not going to happen quick, but I can see changes in rap music is going to occur. There's going to be a change in the music. I think
What kind of change?
I think, watch. I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change. I think it's going to be, I think the lane is going to be there for
You said rap
KRS-One, KRS-One, for a Public Enemy to come out, a Tribe Called Quest. You're going to have more rap that has a meaning to it, and it's gonna be listened to instead of chastised. You know,
And Mike, I'm hopeful.
I'm hoping that
But there actually are some independent cats out there that's speaking that way, but it's just not being played. Don't nobody want to listen to it.
well, that goes to that.
They won't get the
Those
views.
certain people that control music and entertainment in America, we won't say that word.
No, I'm talking about it being put. Most of these cats now they're doing it independently, and they putting their stuff like on YouTube, on Twitch, and people just won't listen to it because the video might just be him sitting at a chair talking, just like back in the day, instead of having somebody on top of a car, with their shorts cut in and out and they shaking or whatever. That's
They might share that video with 5 or 6 people. They might think will like it, but if it's a fight in the mall or some other BS, they're gonna put that on their site and they're gonna share that junk with everybody. That's the difference of how things are shared, and that's why I say, we do things to ourselves. We could easily big up ourselves but we just simply won't do it. We don't support each other the same way. You know what I mean? And we allow things to happen. We allowed infantilization of our culture and media because they just, like I said, they give us the traps. We put them things all around. We set them off. We gonna blow the horn, man. We say all the time, man. These people do all this other stuff about even if we go through the trial going on right now, we will say way more about it than they will. You know what I mean? And whether you have the information or not, you know what I mean? Just. I hate it, man. Cause I just hate how I've always said, man, I just hate the fact that we hate ourselves. I hate that junk, man. I hate that we hate ourselves so much that we're willing to destroy ourselves. That junk just will forever irk me. So.
The black fatigue thing that you brought up, though, my guy, that's
Let me know when I need to say it.
That's some good stuff to think that.
Let me know when I need to.
That's some good stuff to think that somebody could wake up one day and just be fatigued from being, quote unquote, what they need us to be, and just go outside and say, you know what, fuck it. And I'm just gonna be black today, the black that I want to be, and not the black that America is asking me to be. That's bro. When you said it, it just got me thinking, And we've seen a movie like that, but it wasn't a black person; it was a white guy. He was in his car, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but he was in traffic. And he was like, fuck this. He just got out and just started bugging out. Up and down the highway, just got out the car and just started just bugging the fuck out. But if a black man just said, fuck it, I'm not going to be what they need me to be or what they want me to be today. I'm just going to be me, a black man, breathing. Not in America. A black man breathing. Not a black man in America. Because a black man in America has to act a certain kind of way. But just be a black man breathing. Boy. That's interesting, bro. You gonna have me doing research on that shit there. I might have to do a show on that.
Before we get to our top 5, man, I just want to ask a quick question. I got my roommate from college, Aunt Green, in the house. I just want to ask you a question, man. We're talking about black men in therapy. What do you do for your mental health? Because you've gone through a lot personally. What do you do for your mental? Do you do anything for your mental health?
Hold on, we'll get your microphone.
I'm sorry, it was impromptu, but I just had to ask why he was in the building.
Told y'all this stuff was live, doesn't it?
Well, come on, man.
Because I love this brother, man. So you know what I mean. I love this brother, so I just want to just ask that question.
I appreciate it. Bro.
You good?
I love you too. A lot of what I do to handle mine. First of all, I talk to God. When I say I talk to Him, I look over my life and what I've gone through and what I'm still dealing with. And I have to say, the things that I've been through in life, it makes me realize, you know what, you here for a reason. There's a purpose you here for. because a lot of what I've been through, the average man wouldn't be here today. So it was, it's a purpose for me. So I have to look deep into what I've been through. And when I say been through, Angelo know, because him and I talk, not only my health issues, but my wife and I losing our son. So those things hit me back to back. And then my disability, not being able to be the strong leading husband that I was before. I mean, I'm still that husband, but physically, there's restrictions on it. And a lot of times it puts your mind to, you still gonna have that enemy that come talk to you sometimes. And he'll tell you, man, look at you. You can't do this, you can't do that. And remember, the doctor said, don't do this and don't do that. And if you don't have your head right, or you don't have a person that you can talk to, or a partner that I can talk to that can tell me, we're going to be okay, that would lead me to be that guy you talking about that just walk out the door and say, you know what, I lost my son. I'm living off somebody else's organ. Man, I don't care no more. I could be that guy. But instead, I go and I have to say, there's others out there that need to be, educated on life still can go on. Don't give up so quick, and be able to do. So I just deal with my mental with that. And like I said, I talk to God.
That's good.
I talk to my close friend, my roommate, and of course I talk to my wife. And I have to take those things and go as they come, Right.
We can actually see you too, so just so you know.
Oh, they flipped the camera on y'all. I wasn't gonna let them on with that ugly hat.
I saw.
That's why I wore it. I knew.
Turn the mic off. Turn the mic off.
Excuse me. Pass the mic to your wife and give her a chance. Speak on how, dealing with your husband's issues, the loss of your son, if you want to say something.
Well,
Put you on the spot.
yeah, you did. But, but a lot of what he said also applies to me as well. First and foremost, I have to depend on God to get through everything. And there are a lot of days that I still question why. More so regarding the loss of our son. But, there have been times I've even mentioned to Anthony, it's like, I wonder how much more I can take, because they say, God won't give you any more than you can bear. But the things that have happened to us, it's happened for a reason. And the comment that I was making to Anthony is that towards the end of what he was saying was that, the thing that I think about sometimes is that although we've been through a lot, there are some who have been through worse than us. And we just have to look at what we've been through as although difficult, still is difficult, but we have to look at the meaning behind everything and how can we turn everything into a positive to try to help other people. And that's one reason why we have started the foundation that we have for our son and of our son, and the work that he was doing to try to continue that work, the Kamal Green Foundation. So actually, I guess it's an opportunity for a brief plug, but our son passed from cancer. He had a hard-fought battle. He passed away summer of 2023, and we started the Kamal Green Foundation to continue the work that he was doing in health. He was a very healthy person and he was active duty military. He was in the Navy, and he was going to school as well to be a physical therapist. So he had done a lot of work in that area, and health and wellness was very, very important to him. So we just want to try to bless others, yes, in mental health, and we want to try to bless other people and provide scholarship opportunities for others that are pursuing the same type of goals and education that he was. So we will be having the second annual run walk in his honor on August 9th of this year at Northview High School. So if there's anybody who is wanting to come out and support in honor of our son Kamal Green and the foundation, we would greatly appreciate it. And Northview High School is in Johns Creek, Georgia. That is the high school that he attended.
She good. She good. She good. She good. She good.
Okay.
He was like, baby.
She ain't cut you off.
Hey, make sure you get us the information so
Yeah.
we can post it on our site. I'll post it on, here. We'll post it on the Uptown site, the personal site. Just make sure we get the information, any flyer, whatever y'all create
Sure.
for that too. And shout out to Trina, man. Trina been sticking with this guy for a long time. She really love you, and you know what I mean. It's,
Hey.
and for her to have, this brother didn't know he was wasn't sure he was gonna be here at this time. You know what I mean? Thought he was gonna be gone a long time ago, but this fine, strong black woman didn't allow the doctors to give up on him. And shout out to you. You know what I mean? You deserve all that, man. Shout out to you. We really appreciate you. You know what I mean? For not giving up on that young man. That's what love is really all about, man. And having a strong black woman in your corner, man. We've always said black woman's the strongest woman on God's green earth.
Amen.
And you're
Best
another
thing-
testament example of
Best
that.
thing God ever created.
Amen.
Especially when they got to, be around the house with somebody.
Now I
that's
got to
a-
tell you what
that's
your
a
boy
Dallas Cowboy
Lil
fan.
Frank said about you. When I said what you do for your therapy, guess what he said? Eat cheeseburgers. You can give him the middle finger. We all do. We all give him the middle finger. Every week I gotta give him the middle finger. He also said you got an ugly hat, but Trina looking good. His beautiful sister.
Yeah. Them Dallas fans whipping themselves up like they do every year. Super Bowl talk gonna go around and y'all gonna lose again.
Kiki, your top. No, you don't. Kiki, your top five.
Look,
Your top five disappeared, Kiki. So repost it. I'm about to do the top five. Yes,
Yeah, no, I'm
I
saying.
know we gotta do the top five real quick.
You was talking about the strong black woman, but
Go ahead,
she's got to be around this guy talking about Dallas all the time.
Gotta be strong.
Got to be strong.
Woo!
Got to be strong. Got to be strong.
Hey, look, man, we're gonna jump right into this top five. I already posted it. I got the top five. Where'd I go? Top five therapy sessions that don't involve. Wait a minute, is that right? Yeah, top five therapy sessions that don't involve a actual therapist. Top five therapy sessions that don't involve an actual therapist. It should be interesting. You know he did his.
Oh God.
On you.
Okay. When your father talks to your kids, that's a therapy session. Although they can't not show up, but that's a therapy session. When you're in the military, you're a sergeant, first sergeant, your commander. I think when you go to church, it's a therapy session because when the preacher's up there, sometimes he'll be preaching.
MJ, we're talking about your top five therapy sessions that don't involve a therapist. Ain't that the question? Oh, okay. We don't need you to tell us what all of them are.
Okay.
What do you do?
My top five. What I do?
You said he ain't did that.
Okay, what I do?
He tried it.
Okay, I think when I'm really down, I call my boy Byron. I talk to my kids. That's always a pick me up. That's therapy. If I'm really something going wrong, like if something like tragic happens, I know it sounds bad, but I go to church because I don't care. Whenever I go to church, it sounds like the preacher preaching to me. Ain't nobody else in there. So, and I think that's God. And I say when I'm down on something, I can always go talk to my mom and my dog.
You talk.
There we go.
You talk to the dog. You
No,
don't need nobody. You don't want nobody. You don't want nobody else to say nothing back.
And then he'll go because your dog
No, I'm
can
just
sense
playing
when
with you, bro. I
something's
got
wrong
you.
with
I
you,
got
and
you.
he'll get right up on
Yeah,
you.
yeah, they do. They do. Okay. Mine, I would have to say, talked about this before. The right song can take me to a place that I need to be. The thing is, hoping that because I usually don't just put on a certain song. It's hoping that that song just happens to be in the playlist while I'm in that moment. But the right song can actually help me big time. A great cigar session, especially when a cigar session with my guys that's organic, that we didn't get together because of something. We just happen to end up together and we having a cigar. Could be but then something else comes up out of it. A conversation starts, just like we was talking about the show on the Shy. How when you look around the room and you're comfortable with enough people around the room to where you can open up and let things go. A good workout. When I work out, it's crazy, I don't think of too many things, but when I come out of it, I always have a great thought in my mind. But I don't really, while I'm in there, I can't, because I'm listening to music, I can't say that I really think about a certain thing, but when I come up out of it, I just feel different. Payday. Pay fucking day. I ain't had one of them in a while, y'all. I told you I need some therapy. But getting that check at the right time. So right now it was just these checks coming in from the work I've done acting. When they come in, changes everything about my mood, everything about it. And right there, just is 1 and 1A. I would have to say a great evening with my wife and a cigar. She don't drink, but I do. But on certain nights when we actually just decide to talk about certain things, it works. And usually it's something else that actually made us talk about something. And then, of course, always, a good prayer. It's amazing what a praying can do once you come out. If you really pray, I ain't talking about God is good, God is great. I'm talking about praying, and when you come up out of that, that's a beautiful thing.
All right, let's see here. Annalena has music, Bible reading, exercise, yoga, dance, meditation, traveling, cruising, journal, and I think she had prayer. Yeah, she on the bottom, she had prayer. All right. Kiki has quiet car rides, sit-down baths, journaling, solo trips, massages, sex. Honorable mentions, conversation with my favorite person, talking to him always calms my spirit. Millennial has sit in the car, ride around the city, listen to music with no destination, sit on a porch balcony looking at trees, going for a walk, and fellatio. All right. Thing we don't like to talk about.
Fellatio?
Has been gifted a 911 GTR 3-Porsche convertible. Yeah, that would calm a lot of nerves there, brother.
Millennial fellatio given or receiving?
The wife said both. The wife said quickly both. Frank said
His jersey number
ask the
69.
cop, didn't mention listen to Megan Thee Stallion. Todd Vick has sex, music, friends, talk, classic conversation, conversations. Appreciate you, brother. Tap down the car, driving around the city at night. JT, because music soothes the savage beast. Rossi Martin has social media, friends, music, reading, working. Number one fan has hiking, cooking, baking, and more exercise. All right. I would say exercise is a good one. Prayer is definitely just silence works from just silence. Going to my basement and just being to myself. Great therapy. I could, if a nice vacation where he's sitting on the patio, smoking a cigar, looking at the stars, it's probably just, man. And music, you know what I mean? I agree. Music does. If it can calm the savage beast, it can calm just about everything. The right music, that is. Not no BS that they putting out right now. All right, good deal, man. All right, Teasy.
Two things. One, it's hard listening to Todd Vick say sex, especially when he's married to my sister. That shit fucks with me right now.
That is hilarious.
They married, and that's my boy, but boy,
That's still your sister.
sheesh.
And he led off with it too, JT. You notice that? It was first.
Sex, nigga.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
All right. Also, just going off what, appreciate y'all sharing your story. You folks out there that's running into, that's having some issues mentally or because of a physical issue or whatever, just like they said, make sure that you recognize that it was done for, it's happening for a reason, and you are a reason that could actually help someone else. Quick story, me and Angelo, good friend of ours, going through something physically, medically, and another partner of mine going through the exact same thing. Both of them has the same story, and both of them went through it until they recognized that their story could actually help someone else. So make sure that you remember that. Whatever you're going through, somebody else might be going through it also. You coming out on the other end is another therapeutic place that you could be while actually helping somebody else. And
I don't see it, number one fan. Sorry. All I see is the
five.
ones I named off. I don't. She said I missed her number one, but I don't see it.
oh, I don't have it
But
up.
she says get your mental health checked, everyone. There you go.
All right, so that's gonna do it, man. We'll be right back next week. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
And we out. You dig?